Dear students, in this session, we will discuss the Keynesian theory of the demand for money. While discussing the classical model of income determination, we have discussed in detail the quantity theory of money and its significance in the determination of price level in the classical model. In the simple Keynesian models of income determination, that is the two-sector model, the three-sector model, and also the four-sector model we have discussed. Supply of money and demand for money was not explicitly introduced. Supply of money and demand for money was not explicitly introduced to explain what determines a country's level of income, output, and employment. We have not mentioned money in the simple Keynesian models of income determination to explain equilibrium level of income, output, and employment. In contrast to the Keynesian theory, in the incomplete, simple Keynesian model of income determination, we can give at least provisional answers to what determines a country's income, output, and employment without including money. But remember this, in the classical model, without introducing money, we cannot even give tentative answers, to many macroeconomic questions that we have discussed earlier. But in the simple Keynesian model, we can give provisional, tentative answers to many macroeconomic questions without including money, as we have done in the simple Keynesian models of income determination. But in the complete Keynesian model, as we will see later, supply of money and demand for money together determines the rate of interest. As we have discussed in the context of classical model of income determination, rate of interest is a monetary phenomena. Rate of interest is a real phenomena determined by the twin forces of productivity and thrift. Determined by the twin forces of thrift, that is supply of savings, and productivity of capital, that is demand for investment. It is a real phenomena. But in the Keynesian model, rate of interest is determined by supply of money and demand for money. As such, rate of interest is a monetary phenomenon. In the Keynesian model, rate of interest is a monetary phenomena, whereas in the classical model, it is a real phenomena determined by supply of savings, thrifts, and demand for investment, productivity of capital. Now, in developing the theory of the demand for money, we limit money supply to public's holding of currency plus demand deposits with the commercial banks. This is a topic which we have discussed earlier. Money supply consists of currency plus demand deposits. Currency held by the public and demand deposits held by the public in the commercial banks. So, we limit money to non-interest bearing assets. We assume that no interest is provided on demand deposits, on saving deposits, even though in practice a nominal interest is given on demand deposits also. So, as we consider money as non-interest bearing assets, we distinguish money from other forms of assets on which an interest is earned. So, money is an asset which will not give any interest to the holder, but it consists of currency plus demand deposits. And it distinguishes money from other interest-bearing assets like fixed deposits, equities, bonds, etc., etc. Now, as it is well known to you, every person on any date has some wealth, and every person will keep this wealth in many forms, such as money, savings with the commercial banks, interest-bearing assets like bonds, shares, etc. Then real estate, gold and other jewelry, etc. On any date, every person will have some wealth, and the wealth is kept in many forms like money, savings with the commercial banks, bonds, shares, etc., real estate, gold instruments, etc., with the aim of optimizing portfolio. That is, every person will distribute his wealth in such a way as to maximize return on his portfolio. His portfolio consists of different forms in which wealth is kept. And the amount of any asset in the portfolio, is expected to vary directly with the return on that asset and inversely with the return on a substitute asset. The amount of any particular asset in the portfolio is assumed to vary directly with return on that asset and inversely with the return on a substitute asset. And as it is known to you, money has no explicit return. Unlike other assets, money has no explicit return except that it has the implicit return of what is convenience. An implicit return of convenience. Convenience means holding of money enables a person to conduct transactions very easily. If the wealth is kept in other forms of assets, it will be difficult to conduct transactions easily. Now, an approach to money and interest that considers all the assets a person may choose to hold as alternative to money is consistent with what people do in practice. So when we develop a theory of money or interest rate, we have to consider all the assets other than money, which is consistent with what we do in practice. But such an analysis is complex. Such an analysis is complex because the return on different assets will be different. Return on different assets will be different, and also the maturity of different assets are also different. So we cannot consider all these interest earning assets as alternative to money to develop a theory of money and interest rate. So to simplify our analysis, we assume that there is only one interest bearing asset, namely bond. So in our analysis, it is assumed that a person can keep his wealth either in the form of money or in the form of bond. Bond is used to represent all the interest bearing assets. All the interest bearing assets. A person can keep his wealth either in the form of money or in the form of bond. W is equal to M plus B. Wealth is kept either in the form of money or in the form of bonds. So, when a person holds money, it provides the convenience in transaction. So, money is used as a medium of exchange. If you keep a part of your wealth in the form of money, which will not give you any explicit return, then it means that you are getting the implicit return of convenience in transactions. That is, money is used as a medium of exchange. And in the classical theory, as we have discussed earlier, money is considered only as a medium of exchange. Money is used for exchange only. If an economic unit has more money, he will get rid of this extra money by purchasing goods and services. But in the Keynesian model, money is much more than a medium of exchange. Money is also used for, in addition to a medium of exchange, money is also used for speculative purposes. Money is also used for speculative purposes. Money is also used for meeting contingencies, future contingencies. Money is used as a reserve against future contingencies that we will explain in detail. Money is used for speculative purposes. Money is used as a medium of exchange. So in the classical model, money is used only as a medium of exchange. But in the Keynesian model, money is used not only as a medium of exchange, it is also used as a reserve against unforeseen contingencies like illness, accident, etc., and also for speculative purposes. And we will see this in detail. Now, the breakdown of money into these three functions is the core of Keynesian analysis of interest rate determination. So we will discuss these three in detail. and explain how interest rate is determined by the supply of money and demand for money. So in the Keynesian theory, money is used for three motives, and the breakdown of demand for money into three plays a vital role in the Keynesian theory of interest rate determination. And in this theory, remember this, wealth is kept in the form of money and bonds. Money will not earn any interest, but it provides the convenience in transaction. Bond is an interest yielding asset. So before considering the transaction demand, speculative demand and precautionary demand, for which an economic agent will keep money, we will first consider the significance of bonds and the relationship between the rate of interest and the price of bonds in the next session.